So, this happened to my friend and I almost 2 decades ago, but I'm only realizing the severity of it now because I remembered it. We were like 10 and 12, both girls. We snuck out in the middle of the night on a sleepover because we had a dumb urge to get some cola. And during that time, the only store that was working nights was a small liquor store 30 minutes away from our house. It was next to a train station, which was a sketchy place, overall full of drunks and the like. But us being so young, we didn't know that and we just went. The walk to the place was fine, quiet, as midnights are in a small town. But shortly after we started walking back, we noticed a car going by. The only car at that time, so we took notice. At first, we didn't think much of it, but then we noticed it drove past us again, and a couple minutes later again, so we got alert and started to walk faster. We were walking on the main street, which was pretty lit, so I assumed now that the only reason nothing happened was because the person driving wanted to get us into a dark place. He took a turn towards a darker street once, but as we walked past it, he drove out of it and started following us. The moment we reached the street where we had to turn to our house, we took a sidewalk shortcut and we ran. The shortcut didn't allow the car to drive us straight away, so instead he had to drive slightly straight, then right again into our street. And luckily, the shortcut existed because at that time the street had no lights, absolutely none. But we noticed the car did actually start turning to our street, and that's how we confirmed it was actually following us. Good thing the house was very close by the time he turned to our street, so he couldn't drive to us fast enough. But my god, when I think of it now, I'm even more frightened than I was then because I know what could have happened since I understand it more. We could have been kidnapped, or molested, or even killed. Who knows? At that time, my friend and I almost forgot about the situation the very next day because we didn't realize what could have been. I wish I was smart enough back then to remember what the plate numbers were. I hope that person didn't hurt anyone in that town. I feel lucky now that nothing happened to us, and my hometown is now in a complete different light for me since the realization. I had been through some bizarre encounters back when I was using online dating apps. I remember this one guy in particular who I was planning to meet. I asked him to go on Snapchat first to send me a picture of him because I wanted to make sure he was a real person before I met up with him on a date. He was extremely reluctant to do so at first, my first red flag. After a while though, he finally complied to appease me. He added me on the chat and sent me a picture of himself, but it was super dark and I could barely see the features of his face. "Why so dark, lol?" I asked, playfully at first. "'Cause I'm lying in bed and it's dark in here." "Okay, well, I could hardly see you. Can you turn on a light or something?" "Why do you need a picture so bad? I feel weird." "I just need one for my own sense of anxiety, that's all," I told him. "You don't believe I'm real?" he said. "Well, how can I know for sure? I only know you from Tinder, you know." "Fine," he said. He sent another picture of a dim lamp in the background. Shadows still covered his face. I felt really creeped out. "I still can't see you," I replied. "Why are you being so shady?" he asked me. "I'm the one being shady? You're the one sitting in the dark." "I feel interrogated," he said. Alarm bells went through my head. I decided to drop the whole thing. I'm married now and settled, but I remember my time being single was pretty scary for me, especially as a mere 5 foot tall female. There were a lot of times I made questionable decisions, and during this particular time, I'm glad I listened to my instincts. I didn't think I have a story to share on here so recently. Now, for a little context, we have a really bad issue with our neighbors. Not bad towards us, but they're drug dealers. Could do worse stuff, but I don't know. I only know about the drugs because the house owner's little sister, who was in high school with me, told me that she was removed from their custody, and they actually got the SWAT team called on them last year. I met the owner's girlfriend/wife. I'm not sure what she was to him, but I know that she had 2 young kids, probably 7 when I met them. I don't know what happened to them. Now that the context is set up, the story. I was at home during winter/holiday break from college. My mom and I found out really late that the Netflix show Lucifer just aired its final season. We loved the show and watched it together. My dad was at work and he usually works from 5 p.m. to 4 a.m. My mom and I decided to binge the second half of the season this night. We meant to watch like 2 episodes, but we all know that you never really stop at 2. Anyways, we're up until 2 a.m. in the morning watching one of the last episodes. Throughout the night until this point, starting at I believe 8 p.m., we heard our neighbors yelling outside. I told my mom to ignore it because it's not our business. It continued on and off for the rest of the night until around 1:30 when we can hear them arguing on our porch. My mom and I just kind of look at each other because why would they bring their argument onto our porch? Like, there's a fence between us, so that means they had to purposely go around the fence to get to our porch. So they argue for another 30 minutes and then everything goes quiet. We figured they left, only for someone to start kicking at our door and trying the handle. It was locked gladly, but my mom and I were on our feet. My mom tossed me her phone and told me to call 911 while she made sure our side door was locked. We only have a front and slide door, an extra crappy thing. Only my mom's room had a lock on the door, so I called telling the operator someone's trying to break in. My mom starts talking to the operator, explaining what's going on. Now, I have a bad habit of not having my phone on me around my parents. I'm a total bookworm and have been since I was a kid, and phones usually distract me from reading and drawing as I'm an art student. So usually I have it up in my room charging. So I asked my mom if I need to call my dad. She nods, and now I need to go upstairs to get my phone. I'm scared to turn on the lights, so I crawl upstairs in the dark trying to get my phone. I call my dad and trying to look outside from my windows. I couldn't see anything, but I explained the situation to my dad. He's rightfully freaked out and says he'll come home. My dad works 20 minutes away, so I was still scared. A lot can happen in 20 minutes, so I stupidly hang up the phone in panic and go downstairs to my mom's room. The person is now at the front door, kicking more aggressively as my mom and I hide in her room. I call my dad again, telling him I don't want to die and begging him to be on the phone with me. He agrees as we hear the banging stop. The operator says the police will be over in a few minutes, and my mom looks out the window. I yelled at her, explaining that if the person was trying to get in saw that, they'd know we were here. As I'm explaining this, we get confirmation that the police were there. I told my dad. The operator confirms they found someone at our door and it was safe to come outside. So my mom does. I peek my head outside and see the neighbor's girlfriend/wife talking to the police. She explained that she needed help and that's why she tried to break in. I'm not sure I believe that. Why would she try both doorknobs? Regardless, the police ended up taking her down to the station, and my dad staying home that weekend. So if you really needed help, lady, I hope the police managed to help you.